Good evening, everybody. Imagine being a permanent resident walking down the street and actually seeing a law enforcement officer that you can actually identify with. Well, this is exactly what I came here tonight to talk about in permanent residents as police officers in every state. Do we really need it? I worked as a civilian unit in law enforcement in the sheriff's office in Florida myself, where I worked alongside the deputies, taking reports, responding to accidents, direct traffic, and took a plethora of reports. And even though I wasn't a fully sworn police officer, I still felt the impact on my community, which is why I believe permanent residents would make law enforcement much more efficient, popular, and diverse, since they would enhance the credibility and trustworthiness of the agency they work for. The first thing that I see is that we have a lot of immigrants and permanent residents who are highly educated and would be perfect for law enforcement, but often get overlooked because they simply do not have this small credential called the U.S. citizenship. Highly educated immigrants, including current and future permanent residents, often reveal extraordinary enthusiasm to help their communities and emphasize their capability as public servants. As you can see at this slide that show a trajectory up in adjustments of status for permanent residents and immigrations in this country from 1997 to 2016. There's a large amount of community engagement and commitment made by these immigrants who turn into permanent residents and enhancing the diversity of law enforcement in the community, which is my next point. Many law enforcement agencies in this country are in need of a diverse workforce in order to build trust with their community. According to Farrell and Borrell, diversity in the police department increases trust, community leadership, since the community can see themselves in the uniform, which is a very important aspect of this. Because I would like to get policed by somebody that I can identify with if I was from a different country. Law enforcement agencies are in dire need of representation of the diversity in every community in this country. And they would receive a lot more engagement and trust from the community the more diverse officers they would employ, which includes permanent residents. The last, and I think most important point that I'm trying to make with this is that law enforcement has a chronicle short applicant pool. They're struggling to get recruits all across the country, going to different states, trying to get new hires, but still have not understood that what they could do is enlarge the pool by applicants by actually allowing permanent residents to participate in their application pool. I know how it was for me when I worked in Florida. I was one, if not the only permanent resident on the entire squad. And we have constant talks about we're chronically short, nobody's coming in that wants to work, yet we have this ginormous pool of applicants, thousands, that could be possible new law enforcement officers, but they are ignored in certain states who are chronically short. Just to illustrate this, we can look at this graphic right here. While good 70% of agencies are short of applicants, a good 60% don't have quality applicants. Consequently, when looking at this, and the red chart over there, the diversity of applicants is another issue that law enforcement deals with, and could eliminate this very quickly if they would only had a larger pool with these permanent residents. There's a solution to all of this. The inclusion of permanent residents is the solution that law enforcement in the new age is looking for. Since permanent residents have great education, are motivated to serve their community and the people who can also identify with them, and the fact that they're completely diverse because they come from different countries with all kinds of ethnicities, religious differences, and different language skills, they would make a perfect addition to law enforcement, since they bring a large plethora of possible applicants to widen the pool and actually bring much needed relief to a lot of law enforcement agencies across the nation. In summary, high education, motivation, a need for representation in the community, as well as an extreme shortage of possible recruits, and so many other reasons are why agencies are in dire need of enlarging their pools by picking or making permanent residents eligible for being police officers in the state that they're applying in. While I understand that this is a thing that has to be done on the legislative side, permanent residents would definitely make law enforcement more efficient, popular, and diverse, since they would enhance the credibility and trustworthiness of their agency. If we embrace inclusion of every resident in this country, we can shape policing in our image to make it a place for everyone.